All right, welcome back to Flag Stocks, the podcast, episode 188. Today on the show, the gay Olympics are in full swing. We watch so you don't have to. Then, identity politics are being played up big time for Kamala. We're going to show you why the Kamala hype is not real. Then, in Urban Decay, we have a trap house baby shower you're not going to want to miss. And last but not least, we finally have proof that Joe Biden is just some guy in a Biden skin suit. All this and more, it's Fleck Talks, the podcast, episode 188, ranked the best new podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleck Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro as always. Guys, I have something very special for all you 2A enthusiasts out there. Gideon Optics, a show-watching company, and our friends in real life have two new optics that just hit the shelves and they're not gonna last long. Their brand new 1X Prism Rifle Scope and Guardian LPVO Scope are absolutely sick and are must-have add-ons to your weapons. That's lit. These guys take pride in providing you with high-quality optics at a very affordable price. Gideon Optics has a ton of optics that you'll love. They have the Mediator, the Omega, and the Alpha, as well as the new ones we already mentioned. Upgrade your 2A collection by going to GideonOptics.com today. Use code Cabana for 10% off and free shipping. Cabana. I told you they were show watchers. Get your optics from one of the boys. Go to GideonOptics.com right now. And as always, send me a screenshot showing me you made a purchase, and I will follow you back on a social media of your choice. GideonOptics.com is the website. It's linked in the description. Go pick up something for your 2A collection today. Now let's get into housekeeping. But all right, guys, we have a... Tell them.
It's a packed episode. I don't know how we're going to get through it. It might be a long episode.
It might be a long one. We got a lot of stuff. 5 pages of housekeeping.
Yeah.
Stacked Cringe, stacked Urban, the Olympic stuff, all kinds of stuff to get to. First things first, there was a UFO sighting in Ibiza.
Ibiza, dude. I'm from Chicago, man. Like, you should hear how we pronounce French cities.
Yeah.
Desplaines, Bourbonnais. We're really just ripping it, so I will never say Ibiza.
Yeah, and I'm not. And I said Ibiza as a joke. It's Ibiza.
Yeah.
So here it is. Here's the shot. They are looking. There's the moon. And there it goes.
Oh,
Pretty cool.
sped away. Yeah.
It just went off as fast as something can move.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty impressive.
Anything to learn there? Any lessons? Just more proof?
Just more proof.
Okay, easy.
Yeah, that was an easy one. Let's get to our next thing, which is more proof as well. Thomas Crooks wasn't an MK Ultra person. We said on the show, and a lot of people believe that the MK Ultra people just took over his brain, made him go do that, then he got killed, and then...
Easy Patsy, easy fall guy.
Easy Patsy, but the CIA came out and told us that that is not true. The CIA said that he wasn't an MK Ultra person.
Thank you, CIA. Very cool, very trustworthy.
Yeah, I believe him. It's like asking the Hamburglar where all the cheeseburgers went.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Some guy ran that way. A couple of black guys ran that way, the Hamburglar says.
Exactly. All right, let's get into the show. I guess we're getting right into the politics, which makes sense for this time of the year.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of politics to get to. Mm-hmm. Congrats to Maduro in Venezuela. He won his election.
Yeah.
And he
Real socialist commie type.
Yep. And it was a very close one, but he held strong and persevered, and in the middle of the night, pulled ahead.
Straight line up, just like the Georgia election.
Yeah, I was going to say, it reminds me of when Joe Biden did that in Michigan and Wisconsin and the Georgia runoff.
Yeah, classic. It's called the straight line up. And, once you're in office, nobody questions it anymore.
Yeah, it's nice to be on the political side where you have the people in the middle of the night help your chart so you win.
I know. That's like really, it's easy. It's easy to be that guy. You're like, don't worry. Everyone's sweating. Your whole campaign staff is sweating, and you're like, don't worry about it.
We're going to be okay.
3 a.m. Stay up.
The line's going to go
Stay
like
awake.
this. And it's also frustrating, actually, to be on the other side where you work really hard and you have all the people vote, and then in the middle of the night, the opponent's line goes straight up for some reason.
Yeah.
We do have some updates with Joe Biden. There was some more details that came out regarding the coup.
Yeah, from the reporting of Seymour Hersh, this quote says, by Saturday, July 20th, former President Barack Obama was deeply involved. And remember, he announced his retirement the next day. Or dropping out of the race. And there was talk that he would place a call to Biden. It was not clear whether Biden had been examined or just what happened to him in Las Vegas. The big three, the official said, referring to former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, continued to be directly involved. On Sunday morning, the official told Seymour Hersh, with the approval of Pelosi and Schumer, Obama called Biden after breakfast and said, here's the deal. We have Kamala's approval to invoke the 25th Amendment. The amendment provides that when the president is determined by the vice president and others to be unfit to carry out the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall assume those duties. So,
yeah, sounds about right.
Little strong arm Obama triumvirate with Chuck and Nancy.
Unelected private citizen Obama.
Yeah, crazy.
Just making a quick phone call. And that's actually not even surprising to show watchers especially. Yeah. I'm sure you guys remember we've called this a million times. We actually have a little mini montage of exactly that. Now the Democrats might be done with Joe Biden and they might want to get rid of him or let him get impeached or have him step down, not run for president.
I mean, I think it would be the smart thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the move.
Joe Biden's going to step down and say it's time for a woman of color to head this ship. Yeah. So show watchers knew the whole time.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not even a big deal. We didn't even need to time travel for that info.
Yeah, and then to be fair, like Obama threatening Kamala, the actual elected actors, not Obama the citizen, but threatening him with the 25th. It's kind of right. I mean, he was retarded. I mean, we've said it. So, it's a bloodless coup, and reports are emerging telling us exactly the mechanics of that coup. But, what am I going to say? He should get 25th.
Yeah. They tried a 25th Trump.
Yeah.
And that would be like a coup.
Exactly.
This guy actually deserves it.
I know.
So now that Biden's done and he's in his last few months, the good news is they can retire all the Biden bots.
Yeah.
So here we have all the different variations of Biden we've seen over the years. And that must be a nice relief for the Biden bot team.
Yeah, they don't have to keep consistent makeup, no consistent...
updating the AI model.
Yeah, how far you pull the mask down and all that, like the chin that one time.
Yeah, so those guys are now on vacation, or maybe they just get offed by the deep state. I don't know how that works. Yeah. But there kind of is an inconsistency with whoever is currently wearing the Biden skin suit.
He got a lot taller.
Yeah. Everyone said that Biden was 6 feet. Everyone knows him to be 6 feet. And here we have him next to Benjamin Netanyahu, who is 6 feet as well. And it looks like Biden's about 6'2".
Yeah.
Which takes me to my next point. You know who else is 6'2"?
I have a feeling I know who you're going to say.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey's 6'2", yeah.
Jim Carrey is 6'2" as well.
All right.
So I kind of rest my case on that one.
Okay, fair.
Which takes us to our Kamala section. There's a lot to get to. First things first, Kamala has a lot of fake momentum now that she's the front-running candidate.
Yeah.
A lot of fake polls. Remember?
I don't know. I would say, we should take Kamala seriously. We should take the fake, when a machine whirs up behind someone and it's not dead Joe Biden anymore. We should be, fighting this. But I agree with you for the most part.
Yep. Here they have the swing states, or some of them, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Michigan, and Kamala's ahead 2 points, 3 points, 8 points, 10 points.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I remember Kamala during the primary couldn't get 1%.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I know.
And some media is calling it out, or, at least saying hey, it's not fully just everyone's on board with Kamala all of a sudden. Can you play that next clip?
To keep in mind, I think there's all this talk of all this Harris momentum. Maybe there's a slight bit of momentum, but I would argue it's actually a little bit smaller than folks think. So pre-Biden dropping out, look, Trump was up by 2 over Harris. We look at the polls now this week. What do we see? We see Trump is up by 1 over Harris. The massive change is actually the change of candidates, because prior to Biden dropping out, he trailed by 6 points in these exact same polls that we look at here, where Harris was only trailing by 2 points. So the movement is actually from Biden to Harris, not actually Harris herself necessarily moving.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not real momentum. It's just people being done with Joe and then going to go vote for the next person the Democrats present.
Yep.
So not even a huge deal. And then she did get the Obama endorsement, which is a big deal. Here's her getting the call.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this.
We get it.
You get the point, yeah.
And then some people were saying that it's also, this is also appealing to black voters because she took a speakerphone call in a public place.
Yeah.
They love doing that.
I know. Buses, Chipotle, wherever. They love speakerphone. And you know what? I actually was watching CNN the other day a little bit, and you keep hearing that word historic. The Obamas said it, it's historic. Kamala, it's historic. Everything Trump does is historic. Anything, like by default, if a president wins or a president is running, it's all history. It's all historic, but they seem to just use it as like an amplifier for when a colored woman becomes involved.
Because her skin's darker.
Yeah, her skin's a little darker, so all of a sudden it's historic, even though it's history every election.
And you're already talking to a person who is black who is the president.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's 10
cool.
years later.
I don't know.
And it's historic. Yes. And also with all this election chaos, people on the left are making Democrat fan fiction.
Yeah, it's like storytelling, or I don't know how to describe
You know,
it.
like the people do it where, oh, my 3-year-old son in his crib asked me why Trump hates brown people. Like they make it up and they put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And we saw a pretty ridiculous one. Can you read that?
I was at a coffee shop this morning, and the woman in front of me said to write Kamala on her cup. The woman behind me said, "You go, girl." Then the whole line started clapping. An old man in a MAGA hat slammed down his muffin, yelled the N-word, and walked out. Definite vibe shift.
Definite vibe shift. So that definitely really happened.
Yeah.
We also made a cartoon of this exact event. So
You go, girl.
just an old white guy yelling it. Oh, yeah.
Ruined his muffin. So, they're having fun. It's Mad Libs. It's whatever. I look forward to hearing more of those.
Yeah, me too. And I think with this Kamala stuff, it's a good time to revisit her past stances on stuff. We don't want to forget that she was the #1 most liberal person in the Senate when she was a senator. And also, don't forget, she was a big defund the police person. We have a clip just to remind you guys.
Here's the thing, defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing, we know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety.
Yeah, so just a little reminder.
Yeah.
During the BLM, she was bailing out the protesters with the bail fund, and also she was calling for defunding the police.
Yeah, and then they say that phrase like, oh, it's 1/3 of the city's budget. And it's like, what else is a city supposed to do? It's like the sewage, traffic lights, like stuff that kind of runs itself after you get it set up one time.
Yeah.
And then like cops, firefighters, those are pretty much the only recurring costs.
It's like cops, schools, and then we need to bring 1 million illegals and give them a monthly stipend.
Hotels. 1/3 of our budget should be hotels to migrants instead.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was actually a back and forth between one of our friends, Terry Schilling, and Kamala HQ. Can you read that back and forth?
Yeah, Terry said, I had the opportunity to show President Trump how important family issues are to voters. He's more aware of what Dems are doing to our kids than most politicians I've met. I told him, Mr. President, you've had our backs and we've got yours. Let's win. And then Kamala HQ quote tweeted it and said, Trump meets with Project 2025 board member who wants to allow book bans. Mr. President, you've had our backs.
And then Terry replied to that, Kamala's Justice Department gave a 75-year-old woman 2 years in prison for praying at an abortion mill. As an AG of California, she secured a taxpayer-funded sex change for a convicted murderer.
So
that's who you're dealing with.
Yeah, the books that show like a dildo blowjob, they don't need to be in schools. But, grandma doesn't need to be in jail, and the murderer doesn't need a sex change.
Exactly. So while Kamala astroturfs her very unlikable campaign, big tech helps in the background.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you search Kamala Harris. You get
campaign, news,
some articles, some puff pieces, her running for president. And then when you search Donald Trump, you get links to Kamala Harris puff pieces and articles about how she's historic and going to be the next president.
Yeah. We saw you search President Donald Trump. Are you sure you don't want the exact opposite of him right now? Are you sure?
Yeah, and then even more proof, when you search Trump's assassination attempt.
Attempted assassination of Donald.
And then who's the first thing that comes up?
Of Donald Wiki. What president had an assassination attempt? How many U.S. presidents have been attempted assassinations? It's just nothing. It doesn't autofill Trump. It refuses to autofill Trump.
So that event, I guess, didn't exist. And I actually tried this on myself, and it said I wrote the assassination attempt of Donald, and it said Donald Reagan.
Like the misspell.
Like, oh, do you mean to misspell Ronald Reagan?
Oh, so bad.
So and it works for if you do it Trump too. Same thing. If you search the assassination attempt of TR, it says Truman.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about?
Is that who? I don't know.
Kids love talking about Truman.
That was like 58 years ago. You sure you don't want to? Are you doing a school project? We know all your info. We know you're like mid-20s guy who likes sports and football and XYZ, but are you doing a school project now? Going back to Truman?
Exactly.
Or are you searching current events?
So Google's in on it. We knew that. And then with Meta AI, you can even type in, tell me about the assassination attempt on Trump. And Meta AI says, I can't assist with that. I don't always have access to the most up-to-date information. Can I help you with anything else? Then tell me about Kamala Harris's campaign for president. And then it goes, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's everything you need to know.
I saw another one from Meta AI that was like, tell me about the Trump versus Biden debate. And then it says like all these misinformation things that Trump said. And it doesn't once mention that it kind of ended Joe Biden's career and his energy and lethargy and his inability to say words kind of ended his political career. It didn't mention that.
Yeah.
So small detail there.
Exactly. And keep in mind too, with the algorithms, like whoever controls the algorithms is a modern version of like who writes history.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
like
keeps history.
The oil baron who owns all the local newspapers, and you know they're like, well, we'll see about that, Mr. Investigative Journalist. And then also the Google one where you say President Donald Trump and it shows up you Kamala stuff. That's what's called an in-kind contribution, right? It's a non-monetary assist to the Kamala campaign, right?
That's a great point.
And you know, I want to see some of those types held accountable when the time comes.
When the time comes, we won't forget.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next page of housekeeping. Make sure you guys use this opportunity to tickle the post, help us juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment, then start yapping again.
A lot of people are actually saying to me that P.O. Box,
bonus land, notifications.
A lot of people have sent me some pictures of Kamala Harris advertisements coming above our podcast, and we like that, guys. That's called lighting cash on fire.
It's called wasting your ad dollar.
It's called click it, interact with it, and then they keep following up, and that costs some micro pennies, and all of a sudden,
maybe I don't know who to vote for.
Yeah. Who should I vote for? Type that into Google. Make them feel like you're a gettable vote, and then waste their dollars.
Yes, exactly. So obviously the Kamala hype is fake and a lot of times astroturfed. And the paid influencers are starting to realize it. I don't think they knew before, but Krassenstein, for example, Ed Krassenstein, he tried to do a poll, and it didn't go how he wanted. And then he tried like 2 different iterations. Can you read the iterations?
Yeah, Donald Trump was found guilty of fraud. He had his businesses shut down for fraud. He was held liable in court of sexual abuse. His properties made millions from foreign governments looking to curry favor while he was president. Who are you voting for? Kamala or Donald Trump? 71% said Trump. So he editorialized it pretty much as he could, and 71% of Twitter followers said Trump. Then he goes, let's try this again. Please only vote for who you would really vote for. Former prosecutor Kamala Harris or convicted felon Donald Trump. And Trump actually extended his lead, 79% for Trump. And then, so Krassenstein's getting frustrated. He's pacing around his apartment. He's eating some sort of like vegan milkshake or something. I don't know.
Oat milk.
Oat milk, yeah, some pussy shit. And he goes, who do you trust more running the U.S. government? A convicted felon, sexual assaulter, or a former prosecutor, lawyer, and attorney general? And 66% of the people selected, he didn't even put names at this time. He goes, convicted felon / rapist. And I'm hammering that button. And so are you. And that's what we like to see. It's like he could just add more shit to it. Like he also killed a guy. I don't even know what else he could add, but I'd still slam that button, dude.
And that's how it is. He can frame it however he wants. Everyone knows he's full of shit, and he doesn't even have his own audience.
Yeah.
Like so many of his followers, which he thinks he has a lot, are people like me and you who follow him just to see how delusional he is.
Yeah, we're bottlenecking on the highway. There's a 10-car pileup, and some guy's like getting jaws of life out of the car. That's what we're here for.
We're watching like how delusional and retarded you are, and we make fun of you with our friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we wait for you to post a selfie, and then we like measure you against the door frame. And then it turns out you're 5'1". So I don't know. It's fun for us.
And his brother's 5'1" as well, which is why I propose a 2-on-1 UFC fight.
You versus 2 Krassensteins?
Me versus both Krassensteins.
Romanian style.
Like you see, exactly.
Yeah.
In Russia and Eastern Europe, they have like these kind of circus fights. I propose a 2-on-1, 2 Krassenstein brothers versus me, UFC rules, and all proceeds go to the winner, which would be me.
Not charity.
Not charity.
Yeah.
I want the money.
Absolutely.
So that is, you can hit me on that offer if you want, and we'll set it up as soon as you want.
Yeah.
I'll go today. I'll go a year from now.
Hopefully pre-election. We want that pre-election.
Pre-election.
All right.
And I'm ready now.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to train for it.
And I know your cardio levels, and
It'll have to end in the first 2 minutes.
I know you have to knock them both out really quick because I know.
So once you knock one out, then it's just
one-on-one with a small little guy. Yeah.
So it almost could end in 2 punches.
I know.
I'm not even going to use my left hand. And then Dane Cook, not as political.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. He did the same thing where he's kind of like asking his audience, like, yo, what's the vibes on politics? I don't want to get too political, but what do you guys think? Can you read the summary of what happened?
Yeah, he made a video on TikTok saying, I really want to understand where people are at politically. Nothing here is to be attacked or debated. Just a random understanding from you guys. Just a pulse check, basically. He goes on to say that he doesn't want to hear from media outlets. He just wanted to get a vibe from actual people, where the country is at after the last 2 weeks. And as of today, he has over 71,000 comments, and the vast majority are people saying that even though they're usually left-leaning, they're going to vote for Trump. Many stories of leaving the left, and remember, this was on TikTok, not X.
Yes. So here's a screenshot of the post he did, and then there was also a poll done where you can pick the red dot or the blue dot, Republican or Democrat, and initially it was like 90-something% Republican.
Crazy.
So you can't fake that.
Yeah.
And people are waking up to it. And then gender-wise, too.
Yeah, Google can show you whatever they want on the front page, but the poll where you have to go and click something, you can't really fake it.
So there are, we're getting kind of in our identity politics section. Gender-wise, men are moving right. There was a Wall Street Journal poll that confirmed this. It said young men are moving right at a breakneck pace.
Yeah, the share of young men...
It hurts them to say that.
I know. The share of young men who identify as Republicans has increased by double digits over the past decade, and the majority of young men now support Trump, a 29-point swing from 2020.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's also why they try to make everyone homosexual and transgender and stuff.
This is
lower
against
your testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. This is against the modus operandi of America right now, right?
Yeah.
It's bucking the trend against their will.
Exactly. All right, we are moving on to our full-blown identity politics section. There is the white woman who says you need to vote for Kamala.
This is a message for every single person who looks like me, specifically white women. It's time. This is no longer about politics, and you get to right your wrongs of 2016 when you didn't put a woman in the White House who was overly qualified. Now's your chance. You did not stand behind Black women, people of color, immigrant families, differently abled people, none of them. You said, I matter more than you in 2016.
So you have to vote for Kamala so it helps people in a wheelchair or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I lost track. I thought she was going to say fat women like me, but then she just said white.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is the kind of person that's covered in cat hair.
Yeah. She puts on a black sweater and she doesn't see the back of it because she's not that flexible either, and it's all white cat hair. So I don't know.
Yeah, and keep in mind,
you notice the don't vote for yourself ever. Immigrants, people of color. I think she even said wheelchair people, disabled people. So so your vote, it's not like schools or like what's good for your kids or anything downstream of you and your motives. It's just like think about someone else when you're voting, right?
And then for the someone else's, it's think about
yourself. Exactly. That's the broader point we're going to get to.
It's always white people who have to sacrifice their own vote and be selfless, you know? And keep in mind, too, over 50% of liberal white women under 30 have mental health issues.
Yeah.
So a lot of SSRIs, a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to vote for Kamala if you want to kill your unborn babies, let in aggressive illegals that aren't compatible with your country, raise your taxes, make your kids gay, destroy Christianity.
Yeah, those are the big five. I think you said five.
Those are the big five from the SSRI bunch.
Yeah, you know, voting, the sacred act. Don't think about yourself when you're doing that. Think about other people who we've handicapped. So you have a sense of women like that too have a sense of superiority. Like, I need to help the less fortunate or something. So it's kind of like a supremacy in itself, I need to be charitable to retarded people who can't help themselves, right?
That's exactly it.
So that's part of the mentality as well.
And then the right wing's accused of supremacy or white supremacy or whatever, but that person is actually doing a supremacy thing where, like you said, they think that they're in such a position of power that they need to help other people who are helpless without them. Oh, fat white lady with the cat hair, please.
Yeah.
What can we do? We need your help. We're so desperate. Aries Spears, the comedian from Mad TV a long time ago, he had some dumb shit to add to this as well.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Aries Spears here. Condolences to Sonia Massey and her family while the officer has been indicted. Which is a good thing. Trump has said that he's going to give police officers complete immunity. Now, I want you black people who keep screaming MAGA 2024 to explain to me why y'all not disgusted by this. And furthermore, yes, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. You know why? Because historically, white folks have always looked after their own. So I'm looking after mine. I don't give a fuck if she's Indian, Jamaican, close enough. And you think when the immunity comes down, the cops are going to differentiate between Jamaican, Haitian, African, and Indian? Man, y'all motherfuckers better wake the fuck up. I'm voting for the black chick. DM me for the link to the Spears and Steinberg podcast.
I'm voting for the black chick.
And then he says, DM me for the link. Then the emotional black guy says, DM me for the link for the Spears and Steinberg podcast. Pretty good. And so you got to vote for the Indian Jamaican woman because cops might kill black people who are trying to throw a pot of boiling water on them.
Yeah, or something. And then that happens at such an infrequent rate, but it somehow can rile up all the black voters to be like, yeah, I'll vote for that weird half Jamaican, half Indian woman because, I don't know, her tone is a little closer to mine. But white people aren't allowed to do that, of course. You can't vote. You have to vote charitably for other more helpless people or something, according to that fat white woman.
And it would make sense for white people actually to vote in their own best interests now more than ever because of all the things going on that are working against white people.
Yeah, I mean, what's more likely? Some black person is going to get shot by a cop while they're unarmed and acting totally normal, which basically never happens. They're always lunging at a cop or doing something or way out of line or emotionally ramped up. Or a white guy just gets passed over for a job from a DEI hire or something.
That one.
That one probably happens every day in countless cities, right? We're just shelving all the white guy resumes and we're looking for someone who's a little spicier. So, the people who should be, I'm okay with identity politics as long as everyone goes with identity politics to an extent.
Exactly.
And you can't be tricked into voting against your own interest. The one identity, white people who can't vote for their interests, and then everybody else just goes, okay, vote for more stuff for Mexicans, vote for more stuff for black guys, but white people, that's a no-no.
Exactly. It would be nice to not live in a world of identity politics at all.
Yeah.
But when everyone else does it and you don't, you actually have to. So you have to go back. You have to play by the rules that they're playing by because if you don't, you'll get ran over. There's actually a tweet that summed up the identity politics thing pretty good.
Yeah, it said, blacks, is it good for blacks? Then I am for it. Hispanics, is it good for Hispanics? Then I am for it. Arabs, is it good for Arabs? Then I am for it. White people, is it good for blacks, Hispanic, and Arabs? Then I am for it. Whites are the only group who forsake the best interests of their people to benefit others. Every other racial demographic is self-protectionist. In this arena, every other group is smarter than us. The other groups are doing the right thing. We can celebrate higher median IQs all day long, and it means nothing while we try to erase ourselves. So, yeah.
That sums it up. And then in our face, Kamala Harris is actually doing white identity politics.
Yeah.
Ironically.
As long as it only goes one direction, right?
Yeah. So what's this group called?
It's called White Dudes for Harris. And there's 20K and counting who are all going to meet for a Zoom call led by Pete Buttigieg last night. So, It's okay when they do it, but white guys for Trump, CNN would run that headline for a year.
Yeah,
and then they'd turn it into a hate crime, and then it would be like tiki torches and shit. They would run it up. So,
but if it's for Kamala Harris, you're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
So here's the white dudes for Harris in our mind.
Yeah, they all have scars right here. They're all fucked up.
Exactly. And then the John Doyle had a great tweet that sums it up. He said, if you're reading this, the rest of your life will be defined by whether you and your friends can be indifferent to the tears of women and foreigners.
So true.
That's where we're at. Very true, John. Very true.
When the buses come, they're going to try to make the emotional appeals.
Yeah.
So you got to hold tight and actually laugh at it.
Yeah.
I'll be laughing.
But luckily, not everyone is falling for the race-based propaganda and pandering. There was a panel on, I think, CNN or MSNBC.
Yeah.
And this is what they said.
How many of you know a black man who has expressed to you that they're committed to voting for Donald Trump? Okay. For the brothers who have told you that or said that to you, has the emergence of Kamala Harris changed that for those brothers?
Nah. Yeah. So that's good to see.
Oh, those are people who believe that Trump will do stuff for the greater good of like every individual. And, you know, when Trump cuts taxes or does something to stimulate the economy or tries to bring back jobs that have been like overseas, like a Ford plant that's in Mexico, you know, there's not really a white aspect to that. And the people who are smart enough to see that and know that and aren't afraid of getting shot by a cop or something, like if that's the argument, vote for Kamala because you're going to get executed by a cop. And you're like, dude, I'm 50. Like, I haven't gotten executed by anybody
I work
yet.
at the Coca-Cola
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I work at a factory, and they're actually talking about moving it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's good to see, but, you know, it's a leap to try to convince them that, what, you're going to get executed by someone or something?
And the people who are at risk of getting
And then
executed,
Trump calls the cop and gives the order. Execute him now. Like, I don't even get it.
And the people who are at risk of getting executed by cops are not really too involved in politics.
Yeah, they don't remember election day. They don't get to the polls.
Or if you see the Justin Awad videos, you ask them, "What do you think of Kamala Harris?" And they go, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
All right, we're in our last page of housekeeping. We're getting to our migrant section. We're going to start our migrant section off in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, which has kind of become a proxy hotbed for taking advantage of American niceness, you know, and generosity, because there's a meme, Minnesota people are all very nice. They're very kind of white liberal in the sense that a lot of them are Germanic, Scandinavian types, and they're kind of giving it away. Mm-hmm. So latest example is with the stroke of a pen, more than 20 mosques throughout Minneapolis are now allowed to publicly broadcast the Adhan, the Islamic call to prayer, 5 times per day throughout the year. Mayor Jacob Frey officially signed the new ordinance Monday.
So here's a video of him doing it. Listen to this pussy.
This is a momentous occasion for inclusion and freedom of religion in Minneapolis. With the stroke of this pen, we and our Muslim community will have the ability to hear the call to prayer in Adhan 5 times a day. But importantly,
great.
Yeah, right.
I wonder if that'll get abused.
And then one of the things that I saw they related it to, they said it's basically the same as church bells. Yeah. Islamic singing music call to prayer thing is the same as hearing a nice bell. That's basically has nothing to do with church
and
itself.
Then the bell like actually
tells you what time it is. Yeah.
It tells you the time, and like there's a nice energy thing with bells that are very good for you. Mm-hmm. It's like you can get like synced up in a nice frequency with the bells. This is the 5 times a day, and I'm sure they're not going to play it too loud.
Yeah, this is actually a show of cultural dominance, and the little cuckboy mayor just goes, "Come on in, step on my neck,"
and that's what cuckboy mayor does. And this is how like the scam works. Like you bring in incompatible, destitute people, you give them what they want, they get eligible for free college in Minnesota, bank loans, they can get mortgages at easier rates. Then they vote for you. Mm-hmm. Then more come, and then they vote for you. You sell out your actual U.S. citizens, but you never lose another election.
Exactly.
You know? So that's like the cycle that the Dems are going to do with illegal immigrants in general. Mm-hmm. This is the Somalis and the Muslims in Minnesota, but it's like a beta test for illegal immigrants in general. And then it's the same thing. Give them what they want, prioritize them over Americans. They're going to vote for you forever. They're going to have their family come vote for you forever. And now you're never going to lose another election.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty good scam, but you need to wake up if you're going to defeat that, right? And they have to go back, and they're going to cry when they go back. When they get on the bus, they have to leave all their friends and their Muslim call to prayers.
It's going to feel good.
It's going to feel bad for them, good for us, and you need to not show any emotion during that time.
Exactly. And then this process obviously puts Americans at risk as well. There was an article that came out the other day, I think in the New York Post.
Yeah.
It said 3 Palestinian terror suspects caught after crossing border illegally as overwhelmed agents warn, I probably let terrorists in.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of an article. Can you read the key points?
Well, this guy said I wanted to get into Border Patrol and protect from terrorists. And it's like, well, I'd probably let terrorists in the country. That's kind of the sentiment and the quote from the headline. And when you realize that, it's like, you know, everybody needs purpose in their job. Everybody needs, it feels good to do something. Like you're a builder and you drive past with your kids and you go, I built that. And it's like you come home from Border Patrol and you go, yeah, you see a bombing on TV. You go, hey, you see that?
Yeah, I let them in.
I let them in. They wouldn't let me stop them. So it's so weird that Border Patrol actually has the inverse role, you know? And here's one quote from the article that really stood out to me. When it comes to these international type of people, like we've seen people from all over the world fly to like Nicaragua or Uruguay or random countries and then make the journey up. Chinese, African, Palestinians, all types of people from every corner of the world. And then for Border Patrol, though, mostly they are only able to use U.S. terror watch lists and other American resources to help determine which migrants could be a terror threat. Border agents do not have access to terror or criminal databases from other countries. And so it's like a guy coming from Malawi or something. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in any American databases. So it's kind of one of those things where we're not even equipped to handle this level of global migration. And, a couple terrorists slipped through, right?
Yeah.
And it's bound to happen. So,
and our Border Patrol is fast tracking them in.
Yeah. And then one of the Palestinians who came through in this article, he had this picture on his phone. Great. I don't know. Should we let him in?
To be fair, I have that picture on my phone of myself too.
Yeah, that's true. White ski mask instead.
I have
right?
a white ski mask and a bunch.
But that's your right. You're an American.
That is my right.
So,
and that's the outfit I wear when I have to defend against the terrorists.
That's true.
When the cops don't do anything.
That's true.
All right. Well, that is the end of housekeeping. We're moving on to Cringe of the Week. Our first section of Cringe is the Olympics section.
Yeah.
A lot to get to. We're going to kind of speed round through this because a couple of reasons. Number one, we can't show any videos because they're hammering people with copyright. So we're just going to do screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
But the Olympics in general, lots of gay satanic imagery and a lot of fat pigging.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So first, they had an event with this fat DJ.
Yeah.
And if you look closely, the DJ equipment's not even plugged in.
Yeah.
So it's completely for show. They're going to say, oh, this person's playing the music. Oh, who is it? Oh, it's this fat pig. Like, for some reason, they need like a fat pig to play the music.
Of course.
So that's first. And then next, a gay guy has balls out.
Yeah, nutsack was out, and the blue Smurf gay guy in foreground. I guess, I don't know, intentional or not? What do you think?
Yeah. And there's kids around for this.
Of course.
And then they did a drag queen Last Supper homage.
Yeah, there it is.
Very nice. And then there was some light ball worship with the golden bull in the background. They had a pale horse too.
Mm-hmm.
And the pale horse definition-wise, can you read the next thing?
A single rider on a pale horse is straight out of the book of Revelation. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Revelation 6:8.
So that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, a lot of Christian mockery, a lot of imagery with, just twinks and freaks. And this is just a power play. It has nothing to do with, what's right or what's beautiful or good. It's just kind of like showing you who's in charge now. It's like, France gave it to me. I'm the one who came up with this, right?
Exactly.
So it's like a little F you in your face. There's no like objective beauty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I read something about this guy's budget for this. It was like $150 million. And then this is what we get. And it kind of makes you want to hate him, you know?
And this is him, Queer Olympic opening ceremony director, wants everyone to feel represented.
Just not Christians.
Yeah.
Not your beliefs, right?
And his name is Thomas Jolly. Makes you wonder what his real last name is.
Yeah, sounds made up, is what I would say.
And this reminded me of, the opening ceremony reminded me of like CERN opening.
Okay.
Remember when CERN had their particle collider and they had like that weird dance thing and it was kind of like predictive programming. What are you guys trying to say? Is something happening? Like it's almost like it's all, the way they do it is like predictive programming in itself.
Okay.
And it's kind of just like WEF programming. It's an opportunity at a global scale to do a WEF futuristic anti-Christian event.
Okay.
So that's how I see it. And then for these people, their religion is being like degenerate and gay.
Yeah.
That's like a big pillar of their religion. And if you go against that at any point in any country, Western country, you get in trouble. So remember the kids that did the burnout tires?
The donuts.
The donuts, yeah. The kids that did the donuts and burned out their tires on the LGBT painted crosswalk. There's a headline, 3 Washington teens are facing 10 years in jail after making skid marks on LGBT Rainbow Road mural while riding e-scooters. Wasn't even their car.
It wasn't like a 6-tire F-350, you know, that really did damage. These were scooters. And
skid marks on the road for a temporarily painted, it's not like they broke into a museum and smashed up some Lady Gaga thing.
Exactly. And
left skid marks on the road.
Yeah, and there's a principle in warfare, right, called proportional response, right? So if someone comes in and shoots 3 guys, you can't bomb their entire city. You can't like blow them up with a nuke. And that's kind of like, it's in the Geneva Convention.
The Geneva Convention.
That's a war crime, you know? And this is like 10 years for a scooter on asphalt, literally the road. But because it was their religious piece, it's escalated, right?
And you're a teenager.
Yeah.
And there was actually another story I saw where some like rap beef happened and someone got shot.
PNB Rock's alleged teen shooter still lacks competency to stand trial, court rules.
So is that the shooter or the guy?
I think that's the guy who died probably, or who got shot.
Whatever teenager shot him, he can't stand trial because he's not competent enough. But then the teenagers who left a little skid mark on the road, they're competent enough and they're going to jail for 10 years. So the person who shoots and kills somebody, no jail, he's too retarded.
Yeah. It's a pick and choose situation. You can't go against their religion, right?
Yeah. And then I guess our last piece, or not necessarily our last piece, but there was some light shape shifting by LeBron. We can't show the video of it, but we're going to show screenshots up until the shape shift. And we're going to zoom in here, as you can see, right when we pause. There it is. LeBron's got some...
Oh, Thriller. That's the end of Thriller.
Yeah, he's got some lizard eyes.
Hell yeah.
Which actually makes...
Caught him.
Yeah. It actually makes sense, too, because ball through the hoop is a game the lizard people play.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
It makes sense that he's the best at it on Earth.
Okay.
And then there was a tweet that actually summed up the Olympic Games themselves. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, from the Fisher King. He said, global migration makes the Olympics less interesting with each cycle. If you're not really watching Frenchmen compete against Brits, etc., the national pride that makes watching fairly boring sports events interesting vanishes.
So true.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of had to think about this a little bit too, especially Europe, right? Brits, French, Spanish, a lot of those people that's who he's talking about in that tweet right now. But America was also kind of ruining that to an extent. Like, imagine being an Italian guy and seeing like Michael Castellini winning gold for the U.S. And you're like, no, that should be us.
Yeah.
He's Italian, right?
That's so true.
Or like Sven Thorensson wins gold for the U.S. and Norway. It's like, what the hell? So that decline has been happening for a while, but the fact that it's happening now in Europe so much is making it a lot more noticeable. America has always been kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
With all the black athletes too. And so I hope some autist out there goes and starts, for the individual gold medal events, and goes and finds everybody and where their actual origin was from. You know what I mean? Give us an updated count of like where their origin was from, and then see who only excelled because they were able to train in like a Western country.
That's a good point.
So
our final thing from the Olympics section, there's a potential false flag going to happen. Might happen because Israel keeps saying Iran is going to attack the Olympics, and they keep saying it.
Israel keeps pointing at Iran, which, I don't know. But Iranian hackers threaten Israeli athletes at Paris Olympics in new cyber campaign. Israel's like, look. Israel warns France of plot by Iranian terrorist proxies to attack Israelis at the Olympics. Israel charges Iran with leaked details of Israeli Olympic team. And then Israel says Iran sabotaged French rail network ahead of Paris Olympics.
So
it reminds me of like a brother always snitching on his other brother. Like, hey, they're doing it again. Like, Mom, look. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
If nothing happens, then it's Boy Who Cried Wolf type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another opportunity to victimize yourself.
All right.
We're still in Cringe.
Okay.
Our next clip in Cringe, we're not going to play with audio. It doesn't even need audio. There it is. This basically sums up American politics.
Yeah.
It looks like Ted Cruz is in some sort of hostage situation.
With Rabbi Schmuley?
With Rabbi Schmuley? Yeah, I got Ted Cruz here. Ted.
Got him behind his back.
Everything's going to be fine with Israel, Ted. We're going to give him more money. Oh, man. Blink twice if you need an evac, Ted.
Schmuley.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do for that.
All right.
Just not a good-looking scene.
Yeah.
Let's go to the furry shitting on the beach.
Okay.
So here...
Yep.
There's a wolf over there, isn't there?
In front of a family?
Oh.
That's cool.
So you have a furry at the beach acting out.
Uh-huh.
Probably a child predator, allegedly.
Hard drive check at a minimum.
Yeah, wolf in wolf's clothing.
Yeah, at least they're showing you. But that was this is how we said it last week with all the trans stuff. Like, they're jerking off to this, guys.
This is what gets them bricked up.
So they get bricked up, and then they're doing it in front of you, and then they're like making you participate in what gets them bricked up, right?
It's like like back in the day, we used to have like the guys who would be naked and they open their jacket.
Yeah, a flasher in a big trench coat, and he's in the parking lot, and then he runs away.
And now it's like you have a guy wearing like women's clothing or like a dog outfit, and like just going out in public, and people have to like kind of acknowledge
or ignore at the minimum. You can't complain, right? The flasher used to be a crime, but this is like, they've recreated it. He's still bricked up.
Yeah. So
he's still bricked.
There's a lot of different reasons for the trans shit and the furry shit, but there is a sect of it, which is Chris from Mr. Beast as well, which is purely to get off.
Yeah.
And then there allegedly Mr. Beast's Chris's sister said that he's been getting off on this for a long time.
Yeah, we're not sure if this is verified or not, but we're going to read it and we're going to play it as if it's verified, right? Allegedly, right? I'm his sibling. He, and yes, I use the correct pronoun, told me that he got fully aroused when he secretly stole my female clothes and put them on. He's deluded and disturbed, and it's 100% a fetish. He's narcissistic, and professionals have told him he needs a full psych eval.
That rings true.
Yeah. And professionals, it's so funny. It's a tale of two cities, right? Professionals tell him you need a full psych eval, and then some other professionals give him a full estrogen cocktail.
What else do you want to do?
And they're both professionals, right? But, that's the way the world works now. But it's all fetish shit, and it's all what's getting you bricked, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to our next thing from Cringe. The AIRBNB thermostat locked at 80 degrees in Florida.
Yeah, this was just a tweet that caused some controversy. AIRBNB AC is locked at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The guest is staying in Jacksonville, Florida. Host won't give them the PIN for the thermostat. I think that's a win for the Airbnb host/owner. Guests and tenants alike will set thermostats to 67 degrees. The more I think about this, the more I'm inclined to do it myself.
And meanwhile, you go to a hotel and you turn the thermostat to 54 and you can leave towels everywhere.
I walked into a hotel like a couple weeks ago and it was at 61. So it had been left running that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The Airbnb hate, it's growing in me.
It's growing in me too. But that's the end of Cringe.
Okay.
We're moving on to Urban Decay. We have a lot of great stuff that didn't make it into Cringe, and it's going to happen in the extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, and housekeeping, actually, we had to cut some stuff too, so that'll be in bonus land.
So we have a lot of good stuff coming in bonus land. Our first clip of Urban, we're going to kind of tell a little story here. In the first clip, there's a woman who's mad about like white culture at a barbecue restaurant. And then we're going to kind of compare that to how other groups behave at restaurants and out in public. So here's the opening clip.
I was in this restaurant minding my business, and all the white people stood up and did this shit.
So we get it. It's white people standing for the national anthem, and this barbecue place plays it every day at noon.
Yeah, and I think that's Mission Barbecue, and I think that's like a thing they do at the store, right?
But that tradition and being proud to be American and being patriotic, she felt like she needed to call that out.
It's very foreign to her, and that's the same type of person who thinks like an American flag is racist, right? We've shown many of those videos. So that was confusing to her, even though it probably took a minute and 30 seconds and wasn't much of an issue in any way.
And everyone there was really nice and probably would help you if you had a flat tire or something. So we're going to go through how other groups behave at restaurants and other places and see if there's something maybe that she would call out if she saw too on social media.
Okay.
So here's our first clip. Here's the grocery store. Okay. So no one posted that and goes, damn, these black folks are acting crazy at the grocery store. Man, this is so bad. What are these people up to? They didn't post that.
Yeah.
And we have another one. Is at SeaWorld.
Twerking at SeaWorld.
Twerking at SeaWorld in front of the kids. Yeah.
So that's normal, though. The pledge or the national anthem.
These guys got problems.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then next is a guy who found out his girlfriend was texting his friend, and here's how he handled it.
What's he got? Does he have something there?
What the fuck?
Oh! Hit him over the head with the fire extinguisher.
And again, while he's unconscious.
And then someone kicked him in the head. Somebody else. So somebody saw that and joined in.
Then it goes, what happened?
Yeah. But the barbecue place.
The barbecue place is too much.
They did that national anthem.
And it's getting to the point where obviously the crime is out of hand, right?
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where it doesn't even make sense anymore with how you handle it. Like instead of blaming the people who deserve to be blamed and arresting the people who are doing the crimes and the bad things, people are blaming the business owners.
The location where crimes are happening, and that's where the responsibility seems to be landing, right?
So this is an example. There is a gas station in Jackson, Mississippi, where a lot of shootings happen, and instead of arresting the people doing the crimes or calling out the people doing the crimes, they're trying to get the gas station to close down.
Where people suffer harm or injury, it's got to be considered a nuisance. How many people have to die here before they realize it's harmful?
We want to make sure that when we go in these stores, our kids go in the stores, or wives, or children, hey, we want to make sure that we're safe when we go in these places.
We're going to keep on coming, and we're going to keep on fighting until we get something done, until we save people from getting killed right here.
The citizens stand up and speak out.
So that was a mix on the audio, but some people are calling for the gas station itself to be shut down because some people, I think you know what race, are killing and shooting others.
Yeah.
And instead of getting armed security or talking about police constantly being there or anything like that, you go to shut down the gas station.
You should know better than to try and run a business near people that behave a certain way.
Yeah. Honestly,
who needs gas?
Honestly, he probably should shut down. Like, this is not worth it to me. He bought, and that's the funny part is like, that's priced. The gas station, the land is priced so low because the like decay around it, right? And then the guy tries to do something nice and it's like, maybe I'll ride it out. Maybe 20 years from now, something will happen. Developers buy up land, something. But instead, so many people get killed at your business that people call for you to shut down.
Yeah, you can't have a gas station at the teenagers shoot each other spot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, let's move on to the trap house baby shower.
Yeah, like how do people get this way, right? Like this is pretty bad culturally speaking. And here's an example. Someone who had a baby shower that was trap house themed. And there's the young baby who they've already got fully tatted, braided, and there's money on the floor with milk crates and cinder blocks, because those are common seating areas in a trap house, if you guys didn't know that. Here's some baking powder, some baby formula. I believe they cut it with that. So it's like, this is extensive drug knowledge.
A scale, some plastic bags, money, a safe.
That they're showing around all the young kids immediately. I believe that is Hennessy right there.
That is.
That seems to be Hennessy. Paper bags. And then here's the oven where they do most of the cooking of the crack.
That's where you cook it up.
And there it is, another angle. So come back with a warrant on the sign. I think I'd have probable cause based on some of the things that I can see.
How
from the outside.
lovely.
I know.
Celebrate life. At least you didn't abort the kid.
I mean,
that was a coin flip.
If we're looking at the bright side, but for some reason I have a feeling some of these kids are destined to be shot and killed at the gas station in Jackson, Mississippi.
Something tells me that the cops might not like what these kids are up to, and if they move a little fast, the cop might do something drastic.
And here's the video. This is the walkout of the trap baby shower.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Flicking off the camera.
A lot of balloons, though.
This is high budget trap house.
This was high budget.
Yeah.
This was a fully decorated, if it was like Pokemon theme or underwater luau, it would be like a classy event.
Yeah.
You just picked something horribly trashy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'd love... The problem with some of these videos is you lose track of these people and you can't follow up. I'll never be able to watch. I want to watch this kid's career. You know what I mean? Baby's first time in cuffs. Whenever he's going to get arrested and stuff.
You'll just see an article. La Dontarius.
I know.
Shot
Well,
by...
that actually is the nice part. They'll do a unique name so that you can kind of like put on Google alerts for.
Yeah.
And then like 16 years later, you get a Google alert. So.
All right. That is the end of Urban Decay. We have a lot of good stuff in bonus land. We have a prison food restaurant, another pit bull attack. We have a girl who disavowed her mom because she got her out of poverty and now she feels like she's white privileged.
Something.
A lot of good stuff. We also have some migrant stuff that made it into bonus land. So now is the time to sign up. FleckisTalks.com is the website. I keep plugging it. I just need you guys to actually do it.
All right. Good plug.
Uplifting Gold. Don't get too down or too depressed. We're in Uplifting Gold. Someone did a Civil War sketch, like what would happen if the Civil War broke out in America today.
Mr. President, they're breaching the White House, goddammit! How can this be? How can our country become this separate? Sir, Texas just declared war on everyone. Somebody send Israel $3 billion.
That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Shit falls apart here, and the only thing that gets agreed upon is we got to send Israel and Ukraine billions.
That's a uniparty stance.
Yeah. All right, our next clip is a guy hitting a great shot almost out of bounds.
Do his best. Oh, he's swing. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And just the rest of your round, like something happened.
Fully muddy, disgusting. You might as well just get drunk at that point. Like you can't have a normal round after that.
We played the other day, and I got bit by fire ants.
Yeah, fire ants on the course.
A lot. They were all over my club, and I was like, "Oh no!" Because I had like a pitching wedge and a putter, because I was near the green. So I put my putter down while I was chipping, and then I saw my putter handle from the ground was covered in ants. And then I looked down, and they were like in my shoe and on my leg, and now I have welts. And they're going to be there for a long time.
We had a friend who got bitten up by fire ants, and they were there for like 6 months.
More.
Yeah.
It was almost a year. He had like these little bumps and stuff. So if you guys have ways of getting rid of that, let me know. My best idea is just taking a knife and shaving them off.
Starting over. Yeah.
And
Start over, fresh skin.
We'll just take scabs.
Yeah.
Let's go to the limb lengthening surgery. So limb lengthening surgery is usually done by like weird like
5'8", yeah,
5'8"
or 5'6"
influencer, 5'6" Indian influencers.
Mm-hmm. They nuke their skeletal frame and then they slowly tweak them through like these rods that they twist every day, and they get a millimeter, and then they become this disproportionate, long-legged, like unable to walk freak. We've showed it before on the show, right?
Yeah, and that's usually who does it. This woman who was a dwarf, is now a normal height person, and she looks great.
Yeah, there you go. That's who it's for.
That's who it's for.
And then the dwarfs often get that huge bow-legged thing.
Goes out.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see someone with a successful one.
And the dwarfs also, they have like a big head.
Yeah.
Like their head is a normal size head. So when you lengthen them out, you are like 90% to a normal proportion person.
Yeah. The only thing left is your arms and torso.
Yeah. So that's great work. That's who should do it.
Okay.
Great.
Uplifting.
That's uplifting.
Yeah, that is.
Next is the dragonflies.
Okay.
Shit.
Is that the beach?
Yeah, in Rhode Island, actually.
And there's dragonflies everywhere.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
What do you think?
Oh my God.
This is supposed to be the cicadas.
Yeah.
All we hear, the cicadas, 20-year cicadas and 10-year cicadas all lined up, and there's going to be cicadas everywhere. I haven't seen one thing about cicadas, and now dragonflies are eating cicadas' lunch.
Okay, there you go.
That's all.
We're not in a cicada zone, though, so you're biased. Like, you're not seeing you're in Florida.
We would see if they were cicada situations like that.
Okay.
We would see it on social media.
All right.
And I didn't see anything. And all I heard was hype all year about cicadas.
Okay.
And then there's that, and nothing happened.
That's fair.
All right, our next clip is the baby with the grip strength. Look at that. It's uplifting.
Baby takes care of your luggage. Baby grip strength comes quick.
Baby helps. Baby knows what the goal and the plan is of this suitcase.
Yeah.
Baby wants to help. Baby can.
I think there's something where kids have good grip strength naturally, like really young kids. And then a lot of people lose that when they're an adult. And so you have to be like putting kids on monkey bars and getting them on pull-ups and stuff. And I think that helps them later in life.
Helps them later in life, it's called.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So
keep that grip strength.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, Fleckus Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. FleckusTalks.com for bonus land, FleckusMerch.com for merch, and anything else?
Who won in golf between me and you?
Well, we went to the course, and then our course was closed.
Mm-hmm.
So then we went to a different course.
Then we played 18, right?
We played 18.
And then who won?
I don't remember. I think, there's a couple of holes we didn't finish, right? We both didn't have.
I didn't finish one.
So we were saying we're going to do a true score and see who wins. Every hole gets putted out.
Who won the money? Who won the money?
We didn't finish.
Who was +6 at the end of the round? Which one of us was +6?
And that counts the hole I didn't finish and the hole you didn't finish, like the zeros or the zeros.
Well, it's do not finish, and then we conceded.
That sounds like
what was the score?
It doesn't sound like
who won.
That sounds like fake golf.
Who won the score? We were playing match play.
We advertised we're going to do a true score.
Yeah, you had to tell them.
We did a true score.
Oh my God.
We advertised we were going to do a true score, and we're going to putt every ball into the hole. No gimmies, no mulligans, and we didn't do that.
I won +6. We played $10 a hole, so I won +6.
We didn't do it.
Match play. Doesn't matter what the stroke play is. See you guys at Bonus Land. I'm signing out.
How can our country become this separate? Somebody send Israel $3 billion.